So the Booker Prize shortlist is moments away from being announced, and I thought I would take a couple of minutes to talk to you about my predictions, what I read, and what I think we're going to see. Hi, my name is Kim, and welcome back to my channel. If I am new to you, I am a lover of literary fiction as well as the Booker Prize. I also follow the International Booker, the Women's Prize for Fiction, and Canada Reads. And today it is 34 degrees. I live in rural Eastern Ontario, so I thought I would bring you a bit of the lake as well as Wednesday and Ripley. So let's get to my predictions. So I have read 4.5 books so far. The first one I read was Wild Houses by Colin, Barrett, and there will be a link to the video in my description box below. I am doing individual reviews of each of the 13 long-listed books. And to sum it up, I thought it was a good book. I thought it was trying to do too many things at too many times, and I thought that the marketing was extremely wrong. It is a book about people moving through grief and trying to find their way through dark times. It is not a drug dealing thriller of a book. So the book I read after that was Headshot by Rita Bullwinkle, and there'll be a video coming very, very shortly. I thought that the structure was very innovative, but in the end, it really worked against itself. But I'll talk more about that in a later video. The third book I read was Held by Anne Michaels. She is a fellow Canadian. This book and were just longlisted for the Giller 2024. Now, I read Fugitive Pieces when it first came out quite a few times. It's beautiful. She is very much a poet first and foremost, and I know that a lot of people have DNF'd Held. It is a historical fiction book. It moves through over 100 years of history back and forth, but it is a it is a book that needs to be read very, very slowly and from a poetic point of view, in which Anne really leaves it up to the reader to fill in the gaps. And I thought it was absolutely amazing. Please go read this book. And the next book I read after that was Wandering Stars by Tommy Orange, who is the first Indigenous author to make the long list and perhaps the short list. Now, this is a sequel and prequel to his first book, There, which I read and absolutely adored. I love the characters, I love the story, I love the writing. However, I could not read Wandering Stars as a standalone. I really struggled because I felt that There was missing from the narrative. And I really wish in retrospect that Tommy Orange and his publishers would have been able to either publish this as a trilogy or publish it as one epic novel. So let's talk about what I would like to see on the list. And of course, first and foremost, as you just heard, I would want Held to be on there. I really think that this is a book that can be reread and seen on so many different levels. The second book I would pick would be James by Percival Everett. Now, I read this a while ago and I didn't make a video about it because I really felt that there were so many videos just saying how much they loved this book that it wasn't necessary for me to do that. But I am going to reread it and we'll see how it lives up to the reread. Now, James was just listed for the National Book Award that came out. And thirdly, I'm going to list Playground by Richard Powers. I have loved everything that he has ever written. I loved The Overstory, which was shortlisted for the Booker. I loved Bewilderment, also shortlisted for the Booker. And this book isn't available until September 24th. So just based on his history, I'm going to pick that one to be there. The fourth one on my list is My Friends by Hisham Mater, who was also listed for the National Book Award, which is becoming very interesting to me this year, but that's a whole other story. I have not read this book yet, but I think that it sort of clicks off all of the checklists of the judges, and I haven't heard anyone say a bad word about this book. So the fifth book I would like to see on the list is The Safekeep by Jal van der Wooden. And I think that this is a very interesting writer with an interesting premise, and I haven't heard a bad thing about it. And lastly, the book that I will be looking for is Stone Yard Devotional by Charlotte Wood. So let's talk about what I think will be on the list. Now, if we go from the judge's statement that they want these books to make a space in our hearts, and that they want to see find a place in the reading lives of many others. They want to see works of fiction that inhabit ideas by making us care deeply about people and their predicaments. And you really do have to listen to what the judges are looking for. This year for the International Booker, I did not like the book that won, which was Karos by Jenny Epperbeck. And I didn't get along with the book, but I thought it was going to win because it was everything that the judges wanted. So it can't always be our pick, but you do have to take into consideration what they want. So based on that, I'm going to absolutely say what everyone is saying. I don't think anyone would disagree, would be James by Percival Everett. The next one that I think could likely be on there is This Strange Eventful History by Claire Massaud. Now, she is listed as from the Booker judges as being from America. However, she was just longlisted for the Giller Prize for this book. The quirky thing about Canadians is that if you're a writer and you've breathed in Canada, we're pretty much going to claim you as our own. Now, this is a quote from the back of the book from Yi-Yun Lee, who is one of the judges, and that is the reason I think this book is going to make it. First of all, she calls it the war and peace of the 20th and 21st centuries. Call it the long view of a family migrating through many borders, worlds, and eras. Call it anything and we fall short. Claire Massaud is a magnificent storyteller, and the novel, an all-encompassing history of many human hearts, and any human heart will linger and haunt us at the best and the most heartbreaking memory. So I just think that because she has endorsed it, compared it to War and Peace, and I've read War and Peace, and it's amazing. I really think that that will make the list, and that it just seems to encompass what they're looking for. In third place, I'm going to be looking for My Friends by Hisham Matar. Again, as I stated before, I really think this one, everyone is loving it. And in fourth, you might be surprised by this, but I'm going to say Wandering Stars by Tommy Orange. Now, the reason I didn't put it on my personal shortlist was because I've already read There, and I can't see it as a standalone book. But the judges are not going to have that perspective, and I loved the characters in Wandering Stars and There so much. They are unforgettable to me, so that's why I think it'll make the short list. The fifth book I think will be Orbital by Samantha Harvey. Just the structure of the book in terms of 8 people orbiting around the world and their family, and 8 lonely people orbiting around themselves in such a tightly constructed structure has the opportunity to win the judges' hearts. They also have to reread this book, perhaps for the 3rd time. So these books really need to be inventive and need to be multi-layered. And lastly, of course, I'm going to be looking for Held by Anne Michaels, because this book captured my heart, and I really hope it captures yours and the judges. So finally, let's get to the short list and let's see what the judges picked. So the short list has been announced, and let's take a look. Okay. Oh, wow. James by Percival Everett. Okay, so I've got one right and not a surprise. Orbital by Samantha Harvey. So that's 2 right. Oh, wow. This is a fantastic shortlist, and wow, there's a lot of women. Creation Lake by Rachel Kushner. I forgot to mention that I had just started reading this book. It was just published. I've read her before and enjoyed The Mars Room, and she also made the National Booker Award. Held by Anne Michaels, Diego Canada. The Safekeep, fantastic, by Yael van der Wooden. And Stone Yard Devotional by Charlotte Wood. I don't think I have ever seen so many women. That's fantastic. And wow. Okay, so the chair has said that these books demonstrate storytelling in which people confront the world in all its instability and complexes. Wow, I couldn't imagine a better shortlist. That is amazing. I'm really surprised that Playground didn't make it, especially since I think everybody was kind of suspicious of the fact that it was being published after the shortlist, so that they had some sort of view into the shortlist. Anyways, I am super excited about that. I think that is an incredibly strong shortlist, and I look forward to getting to all of the books. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any videos. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.